In the movie Forrest Gump, there's a famous line spoken by the protagonist's mother. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. This single, concise sentence perfectly captures the complex, subtle, and profound nature of the lives we live. Every morning, we wake up and open a brand new box called Today, reaching inside to pick out a chocolate called Choice. Some days, we smile as a rich sweetness spreads across our palate, but other days we find ourselves frowning and tearing up from a piercingly bitter taste we never could have anticipated. Right now, at this very moment, could you perhaps be suffering with a terribly bitter chocolate of failure and despair in your mouth? The heartbreak of failing an exam you poured your entire soul into preparing for, the betrayal from someone you trusted deeply, or the sudden collapse of a project you spent months painstakingly building from the ground. Up the bitter tastes of life always arrive without warning, shattering our hearts ruthlessly. When that happens, your chest feels suffocatingly heavy. Resentment towards the world builds up. As you wonder why you have to endure such pain, and all the courage you had to move forward vanishes like a mirage. However, to you who are hurting right now, there is something I must tell you in a quiet, reassuring voice. In this massive box of chocolates we call life, no one in this world knows exactly how many sweet ones are hidden inside. Perhaps the box you have opened right now happens to have exceptionally few sweet pieces, or sadly, it might not contain a single sweet one at all. It might even be that every single chocolate you pull out one after another yields nothing but a harsh, dark, and bitter taste that aggressively shocks your senses. Yet, if you pause to think about it, isn't this exact uncertainty the very thing that mirrors the human experience so perfectly? If every outcome were flawlessly predictable, and if every single time you opened the box, it was filled with nothing but the exact same milk chocolate, could you really call that a living, dynamic life? It is precisely because failure and success, joy and sorrow, and bitterness and sweetness are so intricately intertwined that we are finally able to comprehend the true depth of living. If life consisted solely of sweetness, we would never truly understand the genuine blessing and gratitude that sweetness brings. Only those who have experienced profound bitterness earn the special privilege of feeling wholehearted joy and happiness at even the smallest hint of sweetness that follows later. The ultimate secret of life here is that you must never stop reaching your hand into the box. Out of fear of the unknown, many people, after experiencing one or two failures, begin to dread the very act of reaching inside. Terrifying thoughts like, what if it's bitter again? Or, if I fail this time, I really won't be able to get back up. Take over their entire being, locking them inside a massive fortress of their own making. But the moment you stop reaching, your life grinds to a halt, right then and there. Even if you cannot know right now what flavor the next chocolate will be, continuing to quietly stretch your hand into the box each time, anticipating the sweetness that must be hidden somewhere. Within is the most sublime and beautiful attitude one can hold toward life. Even if the chocolate currently in your hand is overwhelmingly bitter, if you refuse to lose heart and keep moving your hand, you will eventually encounter a chocolate bursting with a sweetness that brings indescribable happiness to your lips. It is a matter of probability, and it is a natural law of life. Granted, to those who refuse to give up, you can never taste the jewel-like sweetness left at the very end unless you empty the box completely. Furthermore, there is a fundamental truth we must step forward and remember. Even if the chocolate you pulled out just now was entirely bitter, that failure and pain are by no means a useless, wasted segment of your life. When we are utterly exhausted and depleted of energy, do you know what happens if we eat a piece of very dark chocolate from a pharmacy or a store? Right behind that intense bitterness that shocks the tip of the tongue lies the essential sugar and energy that awaken our cells and jumpstart our brains. In other words, even a bitter chocolate provides our bodies with a wealth of necessary nutrients. Failures in life operate in the exact same way. The searing experience and painful setback you are enduring right now may feel like an agonizing reality that draws tears of blood, a moment you desperately want to look away from. However, when time passes and you look back at the path you have walked, you will realize that the terrible bitterness built up a fierce inner resilience, preparing you to weather the larger, more violent storms that lie ahead in life. It was a rigorous training session to build your emotional muscle, serving as a powerful, invisible nutrient that sustains your ongoing existence. A person who has never known failure shatters and breaks easily at the slightest stumbling block, but a person who has already digested deep bitterness gains a solid, unshakable wisdom that keeps them steady through any trial. Therefore, just because a chocolate you picked up is bitter, or just because an attempt ended in failure, there's absolutely no reason to feel so profoundly disappointed and defeated. It was merely one chocolate out of many inside the box. That happened to catch your hand first. It is by no means a final verdict that defines your worth as a human being, or determines the entirety of your life. We often fall into the massive illusion that our entire life has failed the moment we confront a single defeat. But if we look at it objectively, it is merely one tiny station passing by on the long, epic journey of life. Above all, your greatest hope and an unalterable truth is the fact that the box of chocolates placed before you never ends with this single one. Even if you have completely emptied the current box, or even if that box was entirely filled with flavors you utterly dislike, that is not the end. In front of the stage of your life, countless more, endlessly new boxes of chocolates will arrive, continuously for you to encounter when today's box closes tomorrow. A completely new box wrapped in fresh packaging will await your choice. If you wept tears while tasting a brutal bitterness in this box, you will discover an ultimate sweetness and flavor you couldn't have even imagined in the next box that meets you. Failure is merely a process and a station you pass through. It can never become your permanent destination. The opportunity to open a new box and reach your hand inside again will be granted to you endlessly and limitlessly, as long as you do not abandon your own life. The world is vast, time flows, and the boxes of opportunity left for you are still stacked beyond count. So do not torment yourself by letting your mind be held captive by your current failure for too long. You simply pulled a single chocolate from the box, and this time, it just happened to be a bitter one that is good for your health. Through that taste, you have grown stronger, and you have opened your inner eyes to recognize which chocolate to choose next time. That alone makes this choice sufficiently valuable. If you are currently having a grueling time, unable to sleep due to the pain of failure, try closing your eyes quietly for a moment and taking a deep breath. Then, calmly rinse out the bitter aftertaste from your roughened mouth. With a warm sip of water, soothe your mind, lift your head, and look ahead. Countless boxes you have yet to open, and wondrous chocolates you have never tasted, are waiting in a long, endless line just for you. Do not commit the error of turning away from the coming sweetness, because you are bound to past bitterness. Lay down your fears, believe in that brilliant sweetness that boundlessly exists in your future, and courageously stretch out your hand once more to face life head on. I sincerely cheer you on. As long as you do not stop reaching out, the choice you encounter in the next box will inevitably overflow with a delightful sweetness and indescribable happiness. Your journey has only just begun with the opening of a single new box. Gather your strength and reach out your hand once more. In the long journey of life, we must constantly make choices and bear their consequences. Everyone expects only sweet fruits at every moment, but reality cold-facedly forces us to drink from a bitter cup more often than not. Yet we must never forget that even the moment we swallow that bitter cup is proof that we are growing. Bitterness awakens our taste buds, doubles the value of sweetness, and serves as the greatest teacher that enriches the spectrum of our lives. If you are passing through a difficult tunnel right now, it is merely a preparation process to meet the blinding sunlight, awaiting you at the end of that tunnel in the most dramatic way possible. If you look around, countless successful people exist. We often look only at their brilliant sweetness with envy, but we fail to see how many bitter chocolates they had to swallow before they could hold that sweetness in their hands. They, too, confronted bitter and painful results in countless boxes, sometimes breaking down and collapsing in frustration. However, the single difference between them and ordinary people lies in the fact that they never stopped, reaching back into the box despite tasting bitterness. They knew the truth that behind the bitter taste, an immense sweetness that more than compensates for it is bound to be waiting. There is absolutely no reason why you cannot do the same. The traces of bitter chocolate left on your hands right now are not a shameful stigma, but a glorious medal proving that you lived fiercely and made an attempt. A person who does nothing can never taste bitterness. It hurts because you tried, and it is bitter because you challenged yourself. Therefore, your pain deserves profound respect, and it becomes a reason to hold yourself in proud esteem. Lay down your guilt and offer a warm word of comfort to yourself, saying, you've really been through a lot, and thank you for holding on so well. Once the wounds of your heart heal to some extent, you will feel a small spark rising again from deep within your chest. That is proof that the vitality and passion inherent to being human are still fully alive and breathing inside you. Follow that spark and take another step forward. The box you face this time will be filled with a freshness, entirely different from the previous one. Even if you encounter a bit of bitterness within it again, the current you is far stronger and wiser than before, allowing you to lightly laugh it off without taking any damage. Our life is not a short sprint, but a long-distance marathon with no visible end, falling down once or twice or straying off. The course in the middle does not mean the race is over. If you catch your breath, stand back up and start running again. You can make up for it completely and reach the finish line at your own pace. The countless boxes of chocolates laid out in your life will be endlessly replenished under the name of new opportunities whenever you collapse from exhaustion. Therefore, there is no need to be impatient, nor is there any reason to torment yourself by comparing your life to others. You only need to focus on your own box and find your own flavor. I hope this long consolation today serves as a small ointment for your weary heart, until your soul, exhausted by bitterness, regains its vitality and can confidently smile at the world ahead. This encouragement will never stop. In your future path, far more abundant sweetness than you can ever imagine is already prepared. You are fully qualified to taste that sweetness. Without fear and with composure, stretch out that wonderful hand of yours once more and pick up your own shining chocolate. The world is always on the side of you, who never gives up and continues to open the box.